He told me, I don't know what you think this is, but this ain't a fairy tale. This is not some romantic fairy tale. That shit pissed me off so bad I changed my number. I don't even remember how we got back together. All that I know is he was right.
I feel like now that I'm older, I really am mourning the idea of what I thought love was going to be like, you know, when I grew up. When it was my time, I thought I was going to really have my Prince Charming, and we was going to have our fairy tale and our, you know, family and house and this and the third. Now that I'm older and I start to realize that marriage is not only a scam, it's a trap, and it's nothing like we thought it was going to be.
In today's video, we're going to be discussing how social media has turned relationships into archetypes instead of realities. And Derrick Jaxn may be one of the clearest examples of that. So we're going to be using him to guide us throughout this commentary. For those of you that may not know, Derrick Jaxn is a social media relationship guru. He became massively popular on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram for giving dating advice, especially to women about recognizing toxic men and cheating behavior. He blew up even more in 2021 because he had built his entire platform on being mature and faithful and different from other men. And then multiple women came out to accuse him for cheating on his wife, Derrick Jaxn. He denied it at first and said that they were just clout chasers. He's faithful to his wife. First of all, at the time, people didn't even know that this man had a wife. They thought he was single. And then he later admitted that he was unfaithful to his wife during their marriage.
Process where we were in the program for infidelity and all that is discovery. And in discovery, it's like we've trickled out a lot of information. Now it's time to go to level 0, ground zero, they call it. And so he had to make a list. And so he made a list of women to everything that he could recollect. And there was nearly 100 women on there. And so
made the scandal go viral wasn't the cheating, it was the apology video. He came online with his wife with a bonnet and he started speaking about himself in third person. He was saying things like Derrick Jaxn was unfaithful to his wife as if he wasn't Derrick Jaxn. His wife was sitting right beside him in support of this. So the internet felt like he used his wife as a PR stunt. And everybody said that you should have just did the video alone. Why have her looking dumb and you looking dumber?
Derrick Jaxn was involved with other women outside the marriage. And by involved, I want to be clear, I'm not talking about just casually kicking it, maybe a lunch or something like that. I'm talking about as serious as sex, to sexual flirtation and meeting up and that kind of thing. And some things that otherwise may be considered okay by some in terms of like just chatting or checking on people or being checked on by people that I've had a previous encounter with. But without my wife's knowledge of it, and all of it falls under the umbrella of inappropriate, cheating, affair, stepping out, definitely not in alignment with the vows that I took.
But that's not what this video is about. What I find fascinating is what he's doing now, because he didn't disappear. He just adapted. Instead of leaning into the car videos with the long lectures about what a man should do and things to look for, he's leaning into heavily emotional AI generated videos to promote his card game and relationship products. And what I find interesting is these stories. These stories follow a very specific trend over and over again. The woman is exhausted. The man she's dating is emotionally immature. He doesn't want to help with the kids. He's afraid of commitment. He's financially unstable. She's carrying all the relationship emotionally. She's financially drained. She's disappointed and heartbroken and drained. And eventually, here comes her savior, the emotional mature man, the provider, the healer, the listener, the real man, the fairy tale ending. Derrick Jaxn. He comes and he just sweeps her off her feet.
Even from a biblical standpoint, a lot of us was told if we endured X, Y, and Z, this is going to be the results. Or if we followed all of these commandments, we have to have this. And we're literally chasing something that is not real.
I believed that I was due, that I was entitled specific things in marriage because I obeyed the Lord's commandments in one area. My heart posture was completely off, and my expectations were completely unmet because they were unrealistic to begin with. I did not receive the blessed and happy marriage that I thought I was due because I made this one sacrifice leading up to making that covenant. And that right there is my whole entire argument. We can believe that we are entitled, that we are due, that God has to bless certain things when we do X, Y, or Z, when we obey, when we follow his commandments. But that is actually not scriptural or biblical at all.
This formula is intentional. It taps directly into the emotional fantasy that we all have. It shows this woman going through all of this pain and it's relatable to us. And then afterwards, she gets this cinematic reward for holding a man down, for going through all these hardships and adversities with a man. It's basically wiring and teaching women, once you go through all of this, you're going to have better on the other side. If you put up with this and you try with this, like you just have to have a savior on the other side. And that's not reality. That's how life works. Nobody dies alone. Nobody dies without ever making it out a situation. Like if you go through hell with a man or a woman, there just has to be a queen on the other side of the wall. I'm not saying that healthy men don't exist or healthy relationships don't exist, because they most definitely do. I think the problem is this fantasy, commercializing this fantasy and this dream, because that's not how real relationships work. And of course, this sells very well because people are tired, men are confused, commitment seems unstable. All I see online is poly this, friends with benefits this. Like, it's hard to get a ring out of a man in modern society. Like, y'all know, people are not getting married anymore. People are not staying together anymore. Divorces are at an all-time high. So I get it. We're tired. So it's easy to digest these stories and say, wow, like, when is my day going to happen? And it's just like, how many times do you see this perfectly packaged couple online and then later they come out and they say, we were not happy. I was paying all the bills financially, or I was being verbally abused, but we keep falling for these stories, these headlines, these commercializations of love. That's not reality. Real relationships are not a fairy tale. Marriage is not he healed me or she healed me. Real relationships take boredom, discipline, emotional regulation, sacrifices, forgiveness, accountability. It takes all of these things that are not always easy to do. So that's why I think selling this as a package is dangerous. When Derrick himself, when he had all the tools, knew all of the things, and he still could not live up to this fantasy that he's pushing out in order to sell his product. Like, you yourself couldn't be faithful, although you had all the tools, you had all of the insight, you had all of the data to what takes to make a relationship and a marriage last, but you yourself couldn't even live up to that. But you're selling this dream to women online because that's the only person that's falling for it. Men, they don't fall in the fantasy. They know what it is. Men, I'm not going to say all men, because we do have some men that do fall into it, but I would like to say 90% of women, like, we watched the fairy tale, the princess movies when we were younger, and we thought a man was going to come save us at some point. Like, that was pushed and ingrained into us ever since we were little girls. So I like to say men personally don't look too deep into fantasies. I think they see the world more for what as it is rather than women. And then a lot of times, if you were in this toxic situation, if a good thing hit you in the face, how would you know to take it? Like, you probably would consider him a red flag or her a red flag because it's different from what you've known. Like, I don't understand how unhealed people think that they're going to find healed people. If you were in an abusive relationship or a negative relationship or just a relationship that was not well for the last 5-6 years, how do you think you're going to be taken out of that situation and you're going to be equally aligned to a man or a woman that's healthy? He's selling women an emotional promise. After all of the hurt, after all the wrong, somehow Mr. Right is going to find you and he's going to take you out of that place. And it's not even a promise. You guys are buying into it because it gives you hope, it gives you reinsurance, and it makes you feel like just maybe I deserve that. And my motto is, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you accept. Like, I think that's just how life is. And I had to realize that. I realized that like a couple years ago, and it hurts to realize that, but that is the reality of it. But of course, that's not easy to sell. Accountability is not something that you can put in a card game or you can put in a book. You can't put that in a book because most people, they wouldn't read it. So he sells these fantasies to women and y'all bite it every single time. So let's go ahead and get into some of the fantasies and the stories that he's selling. Because like I said, he even had me at one point. I'm like, oh my gosh, I see my mom in this woman. I see my sister. I see my aunt in this woman. So I can see how psychologically it works, it sells. But again, you have to keep in mind, the same man that's creating these narratives and these stories, he could not even sustain and be that. Even with him being emotionally intelligent and knowing what it takes, he still could not live up to that. Like, he still fell short behind closed doors. That should let you know how difficult and hard and complex relationships are, but somehow we keep thinking that somebody is just going to come and save us. So the first generated AI story is, so why did your last relationship break up? The woman asks. And then the man replies, my ex left me when I lost my job without any money. I wasn't good enough for her. 3 years ago, I got fired again, babe. They said I kept taking long lunch breaks and clocking in late. Baby, you'll bounce back. Until then, I got you. A supportive woman. 1 month later, hey Keaton, how's the job search going? It's going. Nothing yet, though. It's going. 3 months later, I added that last part on there. 3 months later, not that I ever been there, but I know he said more than that. 3 months later, hey love, any luck on the job search yet? Question mark. Nah, none. Stop asking me though. I'll tell you when they call me back. Playing the games at home, chips, snacks laid out, eating up all the food and not contributing. And at this point, she's starting to resent him. 6 months later, I'm off work, my love. I updated your resume for you and left some extra copies on the kitchen counter by your breakfast. Console in his hand, overweight, stomach, not taking care of his hygiene, slobbing, out of shape, not contributing financially or emotionally. Then he goes, hey, cash at me $40 so I can pick up some snacks while I'm out. And I know this sounds so funny and insane, but this is the reality of a lot of people's relationship. 1 year later, babe, we need to talk. She's asserting herself. She's tired. She's fed up. About what? Don't you see I'm busy? Still on the game. Fresh haircut. Friends over as if they don't have any financial problems going on. You say you're busy, but clearly with the wrong things. I'm tired of working extra hours to carry us and I can't do it much longer. So he says, so you gonna emasculate me like that? You think you better than me? And this is the example of why a lot of women do not like to date men that are making less than them. They will resent you for it and they will feel like you're emasculating them when really you're just asking somebody to challenge you and to be on your level or above. No, I think you're better than this and I was trying to support you, but now I'm just enabling you and it ends here. Then leave, abandon me like everybody else does. And then it goes back to the present date. She's on this date. Wow, she didn't even give you a chance to bounce back. Mind you, the woman gave this man a whole year. He responded, nope, no support, no patience, just disrespect until she abandoned me at my lowest. Y'all see how relatable that is? It's an unstable man. He don't take accountability, not emotionally regulated, and you had a woman that was supportive and head of household and handling all the bills, but she was taken advantage of. So this was just an example of a situation where men are giving hope. He's giving men hope, thinking you can still find somebody else to support you, when we all know and all see that he was wrong in that situation. But there's a lot of people that don't like to take accountability, but women will see that and they will feel vindicated by seeing that story. So then again, when you click on this post right here, he has a caption that says he swears she left him at his lowest, but nobody knows how long she carried him. What are your thoughts? And then when anybody comments on there, he sends you a link to the book. He says he has this automation set up and it says, I'm about to send it to you. Check it out now. There's a bunch of women that relate to this scenario and they're basically just commenting. Let's go ahead and go to the next AI generated story. This one right here says, it's been a year of us just going with the flow. How am I rushing you? This one I relate to deeply in my soul, but I still see through the theme on his page. It says, I'm just not ready for a relationship right now. And besides, labels ruin everything. Let's just keep vibing. Again, she's at work. A man gives her number and it says, in case you're single, join me for a glass of wine after your shift. On me, of course. Number, the man name is Mike. She's talking to her coworker. You're still being loyal to a man who acts so confused about you, even choosing you. It just takes people longer than others. And then she throws away the number. Next morning, I was calling all night. Quincy, why did you keep sending me to voicemail? I fell asleep. Don't be checking me like you my girl. This is reality. The man that wants you, you don't want that man. The man that does not want you and that shows you he did not care for you, that's the man that you run after. Next slide. Don't know what, you ain't got to worry about me no more. It's about time. Good things. I pulled this out the trash can for you. The friend is helping her get her groove back. Later that day, you surprised I text you? Why? Well, I shot my shot and then I saw you shot it right in the trash can. Besides, I can't believe you're single. She says, you're single, right? And then that man, he's going to always come back from the past. They always come out the trash can when they see you moving on. When they see you looking better, they come back. So she gets a phone call from Quincy, the former boyfriend, and then she rejects it and says, I'm very single, so where are we now? 3 years later, she's living her everlasting, wonderful life with this new man that caters to her.
And then he finished this storyline with the cards. But before we get to the cards, he has to seal it in with reality. I would say at this point in the storyline, this is 90% correct. Anytime a man loses a good thing, they're going to try to spin the block and they want to see if they still have access to you. So he's blowing her phone up and calling her. And he's going to do this even more because he realizes now she's silent and she's emotionally tapped out. At the end, he posts pictures saying, stimulate me with these cards. Again, this is just a way for him to get women to buy into getting these cards based on emotional relatability. And again, this was a great storyline. I feel like it's the reality for a lot of people after they heal, not before, but after they heal. Most people are going to go back to that ex because people tend to go back to things that's familiar. But again, it gives women hope.
Let's go ahead and show a third example. The third example is basically the mother being fed up and not getting any support at home with the kids. It says, can you tell my wife that since she ain't making no money, the least she can do is cook some real food? Again, she's cooking food. She's trying to take care of the child. The house is a mess, and the only thing he's doing is going out and to provide. I would call this the high value man. They don't have anything else. The only thing they have is finances. They have finances, and that's about it. No emotional intelligence, no commitment, reinsurance, no romanticism. It's just finances. He goes, wait, what's wrong with spaghetti? You said you like it. I lied. Giving a high value man such a low vibrational plate is how you got replaced. Then she's talking to the homegirl. He was facing bankruptcy before I quit my consulting practice to save his business. And now the homegirl responds, he treats you like you're beneath him because you don't make any money. So now what? She responds back, I just don't know how to juggle taking care of home and restarting my business. But wait, I have an idea. She's getting her groove back. She realized she can't depend on this man because a lot of men that are breadwinners, they are financially controlling and abusive. 1 month later, she starts making her own money, paying for help with the house, and it's working out perfectly. Oh, Sean is going to love this. And responds, lobster, steak, a clean house, look like somebody smarting up. She responds, and she's having a conversation with the homegirl. Tell him for what? You made $20K just in the past 2 weeks. Just leave his A. Well, maybe if he sees that I've done this without abandoning my role at home, he'll come around. Again, a woman giving her all to a man, trying to prove herself to a man that does not want her. Next, well, if you insist, at least make it easier. Use the card game. Again, this is the marketing. He's telling you to use his card game, the conversation starter. And then she says, right, because if it's just fun and games, it'll keep things from going left. You're genius. So this is where the marketing comes in at. So she says, hey babe, it's a question game. So so we can get to know each other better and connect. All right, I'll play your little game. If you get out my face, you go first. She responds, if your wife's role in the home and purpose in life is clashing, what will you do? He responds, I'd remind her that her purpose in life is her role in the home and replace her if she even forgets. She responds, why do you talk like we're just ready to throw it? Why do you talk like we're just ready to throw me away? I don't know, were these typos intentional? Do you want a divorce or something? Him. Well, honestly, I don't throw things away. I upgrade from them. And when they stop adding value, yeah, divorce sounds good to me. 1 year later, you ain't got to host a party every time I hit a new milestone. It's just not that serious. First off, $1 million in revenue last month is that serious, girl. You are crushing it. And then I guess this is supposed to be Sean Combs' shot by a girlfriend after being caught cheating with a man. Okay, y'all get the gist of it. After you leave that man, everything in your life glows up and everything in his goes downhill, and he gets.
And another thing I'm sure you guys noticed that I wanted to mention is that he never shows men in a positive light. Everything is just to pander to women. And I feel like that's a big issue with today's dating world as well, because it's I'm the queen, I'm the king, and people won't just leave it at that. Those two things can coexist in one. It doesn't have to be like what I bring to the table, what do you bring, like what value do you bring? A lot of people's like, well, who do you think is what is the term? I don't even know the term they use. Who do you think is what is that term? Who do you think is I don't even know, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. It's a term that they like to use. Who do you think is the queen, or who do you think is the prize in the relationship? Why can't we both be the prize? Why do you have to continue to push this narrative that all men are bad? Not all men are bad. Not all women are good. There's women on the receiving side of a lot of these stories. There's women that cheat, that don't take care of their kids, that are narcissists, that lie, that don't like accountability, that are lazy, but you only show men in this light because you want to continue to push this rhetoric, and you think you're helping the community, but you're actually not. It's actually making the community worse, because people are seeing experiences and internalizing them, and they have never even experienced it. Like I said, a lot of the things that he do post about are relatable, and I have seen or heard of them happening in real life, but I think it's negative to continue to push this rhetoric online in order to make sales.
A lot of the videos on his page, it just sells this fantasy that once you are done dealing with the men that do not treat you like you want to be treated, you are going to get your charming prince and everything is going to work out. And again, that is not reality. Many women die or leave this earth alone and separated, and they're happy. The end all does not have to be a man. Like, that's the whole gist of the commentary. I feel like instead of taking people as they are with social media and with influencers like this push, and that doesn't necessarily mean that every message that he pushes or give is wrong. It just makes you want to ask yourself, if someone profits off selling emotional perfection, are they teaching you healthy relationships, or are they selling you escapism? Are they selling you reality, or are you actually learning something? I personally feel like he is selling escapism. He's selling women a dream. Like I said, y'all, if you dig deeper into him, if you've never heard of him prior to my video, he could not even live up to that. And I honestly feel like most relationships in today's world do not last. It's because we have a fantasy of something that is not real. Like, we see something online and we view relationships as characters. We don't give people names and identities. We call them the toxic ex, the narcissist. Like, everybody gets a title. No one gets to just be human and like make mistakes. That's it for today's commentary. Let me know how you feel about today's video, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all at my next one. Mwah.